Hi, Brian here with DIY Outdoor Life. Today we are going to be continuing our series on the maintenance of teardrop campers, and we're going to be talking about how to replace the lap sealant on our roof. Now, if you haven't checked it out yet, there's also a video on this series on how to replace all the waterproof sealant on the walls and galleys of this trailer. But let's get started. Now, to do this job effectively, we only need a few inexpensive tools. The first is a good microfiber sponge in any bucket you have laying around. I'm going to need a little bit of soapy water to do this job, and it's helpful if I also have access to a hose. You don't want to use a pressure washer, and you can do a little bit better of a job if you actually have a running water hose. Now next, I'm going to need mineral spirits and a rag to apply them. Now, if you've seen my previous video on sealant, you know that I prefer to get this mineral spirits in the arts and crafts supply section. I'm going to include a link to all the products I'm using in the description, but this is going to come odorless and it's going to come in a much more manageable size if I don't get it in the paint section. The most important material for this job is this die-core lap sealant. I use the self-leveling lap sealant for this job, and we can get into more details about that later, but this die-core self-leveling lap sealant is pretty much the industry standard for doing a good job on top of our campers. Now, for our beginners here, this lap sealant is the thick white sealant that's used anytime we cut something through the roof. Now, typically, once this stuff is applied properly, it lasts for quite a few years. In the case of this camper, I have a couple gaps here that were never applied. So the first thing I'm going to do is apply sealant to the sections that are missing on this camper. Next, I'm going to show you how to repair old and degraded lap sealant the easy way. Now, anytime we're working with lap sealant, it's critical that we're working dry and on a clean surface. For that reason, I took a sponge and soapy water and I cleaned this whole section down yesterday. Now that it's completely dry, it looks dirty again. For that reason, I'm going to use a rag and mineral spirits to give this a thorough clean, as well as prime the surface for lap sealant. Now, when I begin to apply the mineral spirits, I'm only going to apply it to the section that I'm working on. So I don't know how well you can see this over here, but there's a section here missing. So I'm going to use the mineral spirits on the rag to prime this whole surface out. You can see that the lap sealant underneath actually changes color. Now that I've cleaned the surface and prepped it, I'm ready to apply new product. Just as a quick note, you don't need a lot of mineral spirits to do this, and I definitely don't want to pour the mineral spirits out on my roof. Just put a little bit on a rag and wipe the area that you're going to treat. Now, to do an effective job here, you don't have to be neat. If you could see how the manufacturers applied this stuff, it usually goes on pretty sloppy, and that's okay. I'm going to begin by applying a pretty good sized puddle. And now I'm going to let it sit. Now, once you've applied this product, you can just walk away. This self-leveling sealant is going to form its own adhesion to all of the surfaces around it. So when you're repairing sections that are missing, you just put a pretty good sized puddle on there and walk away. It's very simple. Now next we're going to talk about repairs. Unfortunately, I don't have a great demonstration for you today because this one is in pretty good shape. If your lap sealant is degraded, it's very easy to tell. There's going to be dried spider webs all over it. Now, to repair this is one of the simplest things we can do with a teardrop camper. There's absolutely no need to peel any of the old surface off. That is one of the biggest beginner's mistakes when repairing lap sealant. These products today are designed to bond with the existing product and repair what was there. For that reason, if I come back here and peel any of this stuff off with a scraper or a razor blade, I'm much more likely to damage the seal underneath this lap sealant. So what I'm going to do is prep the whole section with mineral spirits. In addition to cleaning the lap sealant, it actually begins to repair the lap sealant that's there. You'll notice when we treat this section real well and rub it down with the cloth that some of the cracks already begin to heal. The next thing we're going to do is come back with our lap sealant and put a thin skim coat over top of the whole damaged section. There's no need to be neat here, and you can go as wide as you want, but do not over apply the product. It's very important here that we're just putting a thin amount on top of the existing lap sealant. Great. Now this can look like a messy job, but this product is going to settle on its own. While it's settling, it's going to bond with the material underneath and actually repair it. The biggest mistake we can do here is to actually do too much or try to remove any of the product that's on our trailer. If we let this go for a couple hours, it's going to look as good as new. So I hope we were able to help you out today repairing the lap sealant on your teardrop camper. Whether your rig is brand new or 15 years old, these same techniques apply to keep your seal watertight for years to come. Of course, we have to make this inspection part of our routine walkthrough on our camper, and we have to stay on top of these problems before they get too bad. Now, if we were able to help you out today, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, sign up to the channel, check out the whole series we have on the maintenance of teardrop campers, and if you have something to add, leave it in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.